Wake up, Toronto! I'm your host, Miss Bollywoood. It's 5:30 a.m. on Friday, February the 8th, 2019. Let's check in with weather. It's -1 right now, but does feel like -9. Partly cloudy, but we will be getting a mix of sun, clouds, and flurries throughout the day. Temperatures will also be dipping down to a low of -8 tonight, and it's going to feel much colder than that. We're looking at -18 degrees Celsius with wind chill. So please keep your winter gear on standby, people. What can I say? Toronto isn't getting the best of both worlds. If there's sunshine, then there's frigid weather, and if it's warm, then it's just plain cloudy. I'm hoping this gloomy weather subsides and spring arrives soon because I'm ready to put on my windbreaker and go out jogging. So there's something I found pretty hilarious the other day. I think it was on Wednesday where there was a freezing rain warning. Now, not many cars were out on the road, and I believe schools were also canceled midday because of the fact that there was extremely icy and slippery surfaces. So what I found most interesting was after I had dropped my mom to work, I was driving pretty carefully, making sure I got home safe. I didn't have any groceries or errands to run, so I didn't want to stay outside if I had no reason to. Anyway, I noticed every Tim Hortons drive-thru I was passing, there was a huge line. My first instinct was maybe it's cold and people want to pick up some hot drinks on their way home. That wasn't the case. My eyes fell on an advertisement that read, "Roll up the rim to win is back," in bright, bold letters. For my listeners that don't know what that is, basically every year, sometimes twice if you're lucky, when you buy Tim Hortons specialty hot drinks, you're given a cup. And if you roll it up, you may have a chance to win a prize like a car or prepaid visas, food and beverages from Timmy's, or a $50 gift card. And basically how it goes is to redeem your prizes, the deadline is sometime mid-March, and you can keep buying these specialty drinks all the way up until they run out of cups. Anyway, I was pretty blown away that people were risking their lives in hopes to win a contest where the odds aren't as good as it claims to be. I mean, I've never won a thing, and I used to buy a double-double almost every day. But truly, I was impressed that in such dangerous conditions, Canadians showed their spirit and support. Okay, maybe some form of greed too was involved there. In international news, this story has been circulating from last week, and I just get more and more upset every time I see the headlines or updates. In Pakistan, a 16-year-old female named Uzma Bibi, who was a domestic worker, was murdered by her employers. The abuse was happening for a while, and photos of her days before her death showed how malnourished and bruised her body and face was. Her hair was mangled, and she basically looked like a walking corpse. It is said that Uzma took food from one of the family members' plates who had insisted she eat it. This enraged one of the employers because they believed in caste systems, where workers were not permitted to sit or eat with their employers. What happened next is graphic. The two female employers beat her up so bad that Uzma fell unconscious. The woman started freaking out, so they proceeded to try and resuscitate her by electrocution. Unfortunately, Uzma died, and the murderers strangled her, then took her body and dumped it in a drain. People are asking to punish these employers and give Uzma justice. Other villagers also came forward saying that most domestic workers face the same kind of treatment like Uzma every day. Honestly, I'm outraged and hurt by what has happened to a young lady who probably took on this job to support her parents and family. She took on all this pain and harassment just to make money, and she didn't fight back. It is beyond me why owners of the house, especially women, can't relate to what another woman is doing to survive and help others. Uzma cooked and cleaned, and she was serving them all day, assisting them with their needs. It's disgusting and inhumane as to what was done to her. She was just practically beginning her life. I feel laws need to change and firm consequences should be put into effect. This type of thing should never, ever repeat itself again. Let's talk about Lindsay Lohan. On January 8th, 2019, she released a reality show called Lindsay Lohan Beach Clubhouse, which is about her business in Mykonos, Greece, and how her partner Panos hires a group of ambassadors to help her run the day club by catering to VIP guests. Now, like any show that has alcohol, is co-ed, and consists of random strangers with huge opinions and personalities, there is guaranteed drama. This was a bit classier than when Jersey Shore hit MTV about 10 plus years ago. I told myself I wouldn't get involved and watch it, but I've always been a huge Lindsay Lohan fan from the Parent Trap days and of course Mean Girls, so I had to do it for the inner nostalgia. Although there is a mean boss vibe about her, she's pretty soft-hearted, and I could see that when she made a not so good choice in the latest episode. Let me bring you guys up to speed. So one ambassador named Janita found another ambassador, Gabby, annoying from the beginning, and I think those feelings were adding up over time. It took the cake when the group got a day off for working their butts off and decided to hit up an event. Upon arriving to the venue, there was a guy who Janita invited that she had met earlier at Lindsay's beach club. He agreed to be her date for the night. So basically, Gabby was ahead in line and recognizes the guy, so she says hello and gives him the old European cheek-to-cheek kiss. The other girls behind Gabby follow suit. So by the time Janita got to the front of the line, she was pissed and didn't even hug the guy. She just said hi. Once the night was said and done, the girls went home and got into a verbal altercation where Janita called Gabby out and called her thirsty and attention-seeking, to which Gabby thought it was no big deal because she just greeted the guy, as did all the other girls. So why was Gabby being, singled out? Gabby decides to tap Janita's leg, and then Janita said, if you do it again, watch what I do. So Gabby decided to be a rebel and tapped her leg. Janita gets up, slaps Gabby, and then punches her. The next day, Lindsay has a talk with them and says how she knows about domestic violence and she won't tolerate that. But in the end, the girls apologized and everything was fine. First off, I was fuming because regardless of a show taking place, there was a violent act being done, and it doesn't matter how big of an asset the person is to a company. If they don't represent your business or image respectively after being warned about it when they signed up, they should be fired and sent home. All Janita got was a slap on the wrist and a second chance. What message does it give other ambassadors watching? That they can screw up and Lindsay won't do anything about it? Plus, I do recall her saying in the beginning of episodes that she can trash all the ambassadors and hire new ones, that they were all replaceable. I felt that Lindsay was being a little hypocritical to her words. What do you guys think? Should Lindsay have cracked down the whip to scare the other employees? Hit me up with your opinions by sending an email to missbollywoodproductions@gmail.com, and if you're lucky, I'll be reading your responses on air. This next story seems like something straight out of a horror film. It takes place in a North Carolina college. A girl and her roommates found odd activity happening in their dorm. At first, some of the articles of clothing that belonged to one of the girls went missing. Then there were fingerprints found on the bathroom walls. The students were sure they were dealing with some kind of ghost or paranormal activity. One night, the girl heard rattling in her closet and thought maybe a raccoon got in. When she opened the door, she saw a man inside wearing most of her clothes, and even more of her other things were stuffed in a duffel bag next to him. He said hi to her. The man's name is Andrew Swafford, who is 30 years old. The girl called the cops, and Andrew didn't really resist. He got charged with 14 felonies, including identity theft, larceny, and possession of stolen goods. He's in jail with a bond set at $26,000. Wow. That's the most creepiest story I've heard in a while. Can you imagine being asleep and this guy crawls out of your closet and watches you? I'm so glad he wasn't violent or ended up being a murderer. I legitly got goosebumps thinking about this. I'm going to end the show with a happier, feel-good kind of a vibe. Entertainment Weekly released some behind-the-scenes images and takes celebrating a movie that many of us have seen on TV, possibly The Airplane as well. Rupert Everett, Dermot Mulroney, Cameron Diaz, and Julia Roberts reunite for their 20-year anniversary of my best friend's wedding. This romantic comedy tribute has had the cast sharing their best moments and fears on set. The issue will be available on stands starting February 15th. If you can't wait that long, go check out the stars' personal Instagram pages as they share some beautiful photos from the recent photo shoot. They're rocking outfits in dusty rose and champagne colors. It's absolutely stunning. And that is a wrap for today. I release a new Wake Up Toronto broadcast every Monday and Friday to amp you up for the start as well as the end of the week. Talk to you all soon. Much love from me to you. Miss Bollywood, out.